Hello YouTube friends, it's Isabel here. So today I'm letting you see my face for the first time. I'm sat outside the place my kids have their piano lesson, and it's about the only bit of quiet, although unfortunately I'm on quite a busy road, so apologies for any traffic background noise. Had a bit of a manic week, and not really had much time to think about the things I like and the things I enjoy. And last week, one of the decks that came into my collection was the mini deck Forest Fae. And now I know that this has been shown on a few channels, but it's a small deck by Nadia Turner. Now, Nadia Turner illustrated Mists of Avalon Oracle, and way back in the sort of 2020, I started on my Oracle and Tarot journey, and my first Oracle was a Native Spirit Oracle, which I had seen and then I picked up in a really gorgeous little bookshop in Glastonbury. And then I got my first tarot deck, and before I know it, I was fully immersed in Tarot Tube and saw Simon of the Hermit's Cave with the Mists of Avalon Oracle, and it just really drew me. I love Glastonbury. I've only been a couple of times and not spent as much time there as I'd like, but I was really drawn to that deck, so I got that deck and I started looking at the artist and the author and noticed that Nadia was designing this Forest Fae deck and that it was coming out. So as soon as the pre-order went up, I went for it, because I just thought, I'm so in tune with the Mists of Avalon that I'm sure that this will also appeal. So as I say, it came last week. It's one of the very small boxes, so it's a lot smaller than standard tarot. It's published by Rockpool. The box is gorgeous. It's really solid. It's been bashed around in a bag this week because I haven't had a chance to look, and it's not suffered for it really, which just shows, doesn't it? On the inside it tells you how to use the cards, and then you get 40 cards. There isn't a book or anything, because these are just kind of little mini inspiration cards, but with the most gorgeous pictures on. The backs themselves have some mushrooms and a moon on, depending on which way up I hold it. See? Great fun. They are a little bit shiny, but they're a nice feel. They're a good thickness, so you know, and they just fit so nicely in the hand. They're all in, these ones are all in portrait, so they actually fit really nicely in your hands, so you can kind of sit and flick through them. And I really like that, because I find some cards are so big that, you know, you're just kind of stumbling with them, whereas this is the kind of little deck that you can put in a pocket of a bag and just get out and flick through. So each of the cards has a picture on, a title, and like a little phrase, you know, a meaning or something, a key phrase. But that's nice, because obviously without the book, but the pictures are beautifully drawn, and they've just got lots of different feels to them. Some of them I'm not that drawn to, but some of these pictures I absolutely adore. I haven't really used it yet, but I know it's there, and I really like the fact that, you know, I know it's in my bag or I've got it. So I think it's one that I'll probably take with me and just occasionally pull out just to look at the pictures. So I know some other people have done flick throughs, so when I get home later I will do a turn around on the camera and we'll sit down and do a proper flick through, because what will happen now is you'll get it all back to front and upside down. But hopefully that will work later on. Also in my collection this week, I have acquired, in the last couple of weeks, I've actually finally got my Forest of Enchantment tarot, which I have wanted since for a while, but I'd put off. And then I saw a really good price from a UK bookshop, So I ordered it. When it first came, the book was wrong. So there were pages missing and pages repeated. And I was really gutted because I'd been really excited. But for me, as a beginner, this Forest, if you don't know the Forest of Enchantment, I'm sure most of you do, it uses different titles, and so you've, instead of wands, cups, swords, pentacles, you've got visions, boons, spells, I can't even remember what the other one is now, and challenges. So although I kind of know which ones they are, and some of the major arcana are labelled differently as well, and although I do kind of know, I really need the book at this point in time to understand and get my head around it. So unlike some decks where not having a book doesn't matter because it's you can use another tarot book or of some form, for this one I needed the book to be right. Anyway, I was really lucky because, having contacted the bookshop, sent them some photos, they sent me a new copy, and they haven't even asked for the copy back. So I now have a misprinted book set of this with sealed cards and a new set as well. Don't know what I'm going to do with those, but hey. So yeah, so this is another deck I've got recently. It's a deck lots of people have had for a long time. So there will be walkthroughs, but I may well do a flip through of this one as well later. Because, you know, some of the walkthroughs are quite old. For some of the older decks, so I might do a flip through this, but give my impressions of some of the cards or what they kind of mean to me as I look at them. I do love the pictures. I've always been drawn to this deck, and you know what, this and this new Forest Fae are gonna go so well together, I think, along with my Mist of Avalon. I think this and Forest Fae, Mist of Avalon will all work really well together. I've got a few decks now, and I'm starting to get like different ones, so it's really exciting building your tarot collection. I've also, though, going to go on a bit of a ramble, but recently I've watched some of the videos some of the more experienced tarot tubers have put up about, you know, deck collections and fear of missing out. And, you know, I'm probably about a year down this journey, and to be honest, I only got my first tarot deck less than a year ago, so must have been about August or September when I got the first one. But then I think, you know, I was watching tarot tube and I became very drawn to different decks, and I suddenly realised how much was out there. And I very quickly got a couple more decks, and I know that the first one I got kind of got left, and then recently, with looking at different cards for Hermit's Cave, I've actually brought that deck out again and realised that I was obviously drawn to it for a reason, and I still really like some of the cards on it, and that's the Vivid Journey Tarot. But there was a period where I was getting really drawn in, but actually I've always been quite careful, because I know that, like, I can very easily get carried away with something, but also that, you know, although my husband and I, you know, we're comfortable, I don't want to end up spending loads of money on things at this point in time I haven't got the time to dedicate myself to. So I've tried to be a bit more selective about what I buy, and that's important to me because I'm really new to this. I don't read professionally. I read for myself as and when. I don't have a lot of time to myself to read and to look at the cards. So my collection is growing slowly, but I'm also being very selective. There have been so many times I've seen a walkthrough, seen a card and gone, I'm going to get that deck, or heard someone talk about it, or seen the furore around something, and my first instinct has been go and buy the deck. But then I've looked at the deck more closely, or I've thought about it and thought, actually, are those pictures speaking to me? Do I like the other cards? So a couple of examples. The Bright Future Tarot which is a UK produced deck, is a real favourite with a few people. And when I first saw it on the Hermit's Cave, I can't remember which card I saw, but I thought, oh, that's really good. So I went and looked it up, and at the time I was like, well, I don't want to buy it now. I think I'd just bought another deck, and I was like, and I could tell that I wasn't sure. And then another couple of weeks later, I looked at it again, and what I realised was that although there were a couple of cards I really liked, there were quite a few that were putting me off. So I was like, no, I'm not going to get it. And then I saw an offer pop up on the Etsy shop, and then I saw someone else talk about it. So I thought, oh no, maybe I'll get that deck. So I went back and I was like, no, I don't like all the cards. That's no fault of the artist. It's just not my aesthetic. In the same way as some people don't like this kind of card because it's got animals, or it's got mythical creatures on, or someone else doesn't like the Lightseers and someone else adores it. We all have different tastes and we all have different needs, and that didn't appeal to me. And I've become more aware of the need to take a bit more time over. I am not known on the community, and I'm not, reviewing decks. I'm not working with them all the time. So, every deck I get, I have to buy. And yes, some of them I'm being drawn more to, and I'm kind of challenging myself to see how to work with things. I got the Lightseers recently, and that's another one that, like this Forest of Enchantment, I looked at for ages and ages and ages. And then I think I just saw a card and I just thought, no, I've got to get this one. I absolutely adore the pictures. I haven't had time in the last couple of weeks to sit down and really get through it, but my feeling is, do you know what? Get them out from time to time, look at a card from time to time, look at the book, try and understand, see what that card's saying to me. This isn't something I've got to learn for an exam that's happening tomorrow. This is a lifelong spiritual learning journey to put together with my Christian faith to help me get stronger connected both with myself and with the world around me, and to be a better person, and to help my mental health. And I don't need to learn it all today. And I have to keep telling myself that, because I also put myself at risk of overwhelm, because I was like, I can't learn all this, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm enjoying buying decks. The current one I'm eyeing up is one that a lot of people have got already, which is the Muse. Having got the Lightseers, the other day I was on Chris Ann's website, and if you don't already know, she's got a really good extra resource for the Lightseers. If you haven't got the indie and you've only got the basic book, if you go on the website and put in your receipt number or order number, you can get like a PDF, and that has not only just a description, but it has some questions for the cards, which is a really cool way, not just for her deck, but for other decks, if you get a card and you want to do some journaling. And it was while I was on the website, I saw the Muse, and I've only seen a couple of cards from that one, and I was like, I'm not sure. And then I think I saw someone post the Hermit card, and then I looked in more detail, and then I found on the website she's got all music and meditations and poems linked to that card, and by golly, it suddenly started speaking to me. So I've got my eye on that one at the moment, but I'm also a bit of a skinflint, so I'm trying to find a good deal. But at the same time, I'm torn, because I know there's a shop I could go to and pick it up for one price, or if I buy it online, I pick it up for another price. But I want to support some local shops, but we don't. They always charge more, so it's really hard. So that's one I've got my eye on, but I have barely looked through the Lightseers or this one. My Lunar Soul came as well. See, that was one I pre-ordered. I've got a couple I'm waiting for on Kickstarter as well, which, again, Kickstarter's another place. Fear of missing out is intense on Kickstarter. You go on and you see something, oh yeah, this is definitely what I want, and then you suddenly realise actually it isn't, and it's going to cost me an awful lot. Anyway, I seem to have rambled. I was telling you about Forest Fae, realised I couldn't do a card flick through, and then I've just started rambling, and I do apologise. But if you've enjoyed listening to me, then please give me a little bit of a thumbs up. I might do more rambles like this, especially on a Friday, because I am sat here, and otherwise what I do is I bring decks with me, and I bring books to sit and go, I've got 5 minutes peace and quiet, and then I get my phone out and I start playing games, which or reading Facebook, which really isn't very productive. So, not productive, but yeah, it's probably worse for my mental health than just sitting flicking through some cards. But yeah, I must introduce myself as well, so I'll do an introductory video before too long. And maybe, yeah, I don't know very much yet, but you know what, I can talk. So if you like my rambles, I'll do a few more. I'm not inclined to do any lives at the moment because I just don't get the time at home without people, really. So it's probably always going to be like this for now. But yeah, and I also just want to say that if any of the regular tarot tubers watch this, I am so glad I found the community last year. I have my yoga teacher started doing more around crystals and stuff, and that's how I got into then the tarot. And although I've kind of got a bit addicted to the community, I've loved it because there's so many people that are more like-minded. I have real problems with like some of my work colleagues and stuff, so it's great to just be able to shut the door on them and do something else. Anyway, I've rambled enough. Yeah, so maybe some other videos will come soon. Now I get more confident at showing you my strange face. But yeah, so all the best everyone. And until the next time, take care.